Hello there. Good evening, everybody. Welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So we're doing that Tuesday night thing, that mini series we've been doing on Tuesday night. I think this is episode 6 now, so maybe we'll do one more after this. This particular episode is kind of an interesting topic. Never really followed this kind of thing much, but in some cases it's pretty obvious what's going on, and we're going to get to some of that today. So, the topic of this episode is 10 songs that either are or are not rip-offs or blatant copies of another person's music. You be the judge. I'll give you my opinion, but you can choose to decide one way or the other. So the first one we're going to work with is the one that Ben gave me as an example, which is Une Nuit à Paris by 10cc and Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. So the 10cc one is the original and the Bohemian Rhapsody is the ripoff. So you tell me. I've listened to both vaudeville songs for sure, and there are enough similarities between the two that I could see how you could get to the point where they ripped this song off from 10cc. The Queen version is much heavier, much more flamboyant, and of course much more famous. But the 10cc one definitely has quite a bit of the elements that Queen used in this song. Now, whether it's a blatant ripoff or not, I'm not 100% sure, but my feeling is that Queen probably listened to this and said, we could do this and probably do it better. That's my opinion. So Bohemian Rhapsody is the Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen, and Une Nuit à Paris from 10cc is the first song on the list. The second one might surprise people. So we have We Used to Know for 1,000 Mothers by Jethro Tull, and the rip-off one is Hotel California from the Eagles. Now, I listened to both of these tracks, being fans of both of these bands. I know both of these songs. I've never actually considered that one was a rip-off of the other. There are some definite similarities here. They did tour together at one point, so maybe subconsciously the Eagles used the same riffs to promote Hotel California. And I'm not so sure about this one. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Obviously, Hotel California was a much bigger hit. And Jethro Tull, of course, I don't think ever really were concerned about it. As Ian Anderson said, he wasn't overly concerned about it. So, so the We Used to Know for 1,000 Mothers by Jethro Tull, was it ripped off or was it blatantly used from Hotel California by the Eagles? Next up, number 3, you got Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar and New Rains by Rascal Flatts. And there's definitely no doubt about this one being a huge correlation between the two tunes. I don't think you could listen to these two songs and come up with anything other than it was a blatant copy of another person's music. So for this one, I think this is definitely a blatant one. Next up is Sweet Home Alabama from Leonard Skinner and Werewolves of London from Warren Zevon. So Warren Zevon would be the blatant copy. Whether it's actually a blatant copy or not, hard to say. There's definitely some very similar parts to these two songs. I have no doubt about it. But whether he actually took that Sweet Home Alabama and used a lot of it to create this song, I'm not 100% sold on this one either. Next up is Led Zeppelin's Going to California and Pearl Jam's Given to Fly. Yeah, here's some similarities here. It's not something that is to me super obvious, but I think you can hear the similarities. And, maybe it's Led Zeppelin's turn to have song ripped off from them, since they are notorious for doing it the other way around. So I'm not sure about this one either, but I think, I think you could make I think you could make a case for it, for sure. Next up is Get It On by T-Rex and Cigarettes and Alcohol by Oasis. This is clear cut. I don't think there's much doubt here that Oasis borrowed quite a bit of this song to make the one that they wrote. And they're not really a band. I don't really follow Oasis. I don't really care for their music. But they've never really tried to hide the fact that they like to borrow from other groups. So, yeah, I could see this possibly being as close to a blatant copy as you can get. Next up is Stairway to Heaven, as being a ripoff from Taurus by Spirit. Now, this one actually is kind of funny. I read somewhere, I was looking up this one to listen to both songs, and trying to figure out if they were, of course, if it was a ripoff. And then I did while I was looking it up, it came up that there had been a court case that had been settled in, I think it was 2000, might have been 2000, around about 2000 anyways, and that it was found that they actually didn't copy. But I'm not giving Led Zeppelin too much credit here, because they are known to have done this kind of thing. So I'll leave it up to you to listen to the two songs. There's a bit of a similarity in the intros. And then after that, it's a kind of quite different song. So anyways, that's number 7 for me. Number 8, All Day and All of the Night by the Kinks, who were a band that a lot of bands like to copy. And the song that is alleged to be a blatant copy or a ripoff is Hello, I Love You by The Doors. You can clearly hear there's a lot of similar tempo and beat and catchy riff going on here. Very similar songs. And I could see maybe this one happened. Next up, You Need Love by Muddy Waters and Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. Well, I might be able to give them a little bit of leeway on the Stairway to Heaven stuff, because the courts also ruled in their favor. I don't think you can win this one. If you listen to the two songs, it's just a blatant ripoff. Definitely a copy. And, maybe it's just their admiration for Muddy Waters and they just wanted to do something. You tell me, but it definitely sounds like the same song. It's just a lot heavier version by Zeppelin. Next up is one I'm going to do for Australian fans, because they probably are more aware of this than I am. Now, I'm not sure if the song is called A Larkin Music by Kookaburra or the other way around. I'm not sure. I couldn't really figure that out. But there's a lot of similarity between that song and the Down Under by the Men at Work. I don't know that this was a blatant thing, because it took a very long time for any kind of legal thing to take place here. And I just think it was probably more subconscious than anything else. Probably heard something that really he really liked, and then it just kind of filtered his way into his music. That's just the way I see it. I don't see these guys as being that type of band. So anyways, I threw them in there. That's my last one, my number 10. And then I'll give you the five extra ones that I'm not going to talk too much about, just repeat them. So Huey Lewis wrote a song called I Want a New Drug, and Ray Parker wrote the Ghostbusters. There's definitely similarities there. CCR, this one's kind of a strange one-off type thing. So you got CCR, Run Through the Jungle, and John Fogerty's Old Man Down the Road. Can you really rip yourself off? I don't know, but the record label didn't like it, and they owned all the rights to the CCR stuff. He sold the rights, apparently, so that he could get free of his contract and do his own thing. So apparently he went to court over this and demonstrated that he sounds like John Fogerty. Surprise, surprise, right? Next up, Chuck Berry, You Can't Catch Me, and the Beatles Come Together. Yeah, there's definitely a similarity there. I don't think the Beatles had too much leg to stand on that one. And then, of course, another Chuck Berry one, Sweet 16, and the Beach Boys, Surfin' USA. Yeah, I definitely hear the similarities here. I own both of these tracks, so I hear them here as well. So that's it for tonight's 10 songs that were either were or were not blatant copies of another artist's music. You be the judge. Go listen to them and be the judge. Or, you can make your comments in the comment section. Am I going too far with some of them? Am I not going far enough? Is it obvious to you on some? Maybe it's not as obvious on others as it was for me. Some of them were more obvious than others. Others weren't too obvious to me. Anyways, please hit the like and subscribe. And if you want, you can leave any comments about any of the stuff I've said in the comment section below. I won't take offense. I'm just showing some observations I made. I could be completely wrong here. Anyways, take care and have yourself a good evening, and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.